I thank the member. The question is the bill be now read a second time. I call the member for Pittwater.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise today to speak in support of the Crimes Amendment Animal Sexual Abuse Bill 2024 and acknowledge the member from the other place, the Honourable Emma Hurst, who has brought this bill to Parliament, and obviously the member for Sydney as well. Mr. Speaker, I think everyone agrees, and I know I speak a lot in my community about animal rights issues because it is something that's brought to me a lot and has been, even during the election period, people on the booths would come and talk to me about animal rights issues. And I think the topic that this bill covers today is one that sparks widespread feelings, I suppose, and a visceral response of revulsion when we talk about the contents of this bill and what it covers. And I won't go into detail because other members have, but I think what is important is that we make sure that the laws of New South Wales do keep up to date with what the community expects. And if you had a conversation with people regarding what the law currently is and and the limitations of the definition, and that definition is contained within case law as opposed to in legislation, but particularly in relation to the limitations of the law and not extending to acts which involve oral sex as well, the average person, even if they weren't someone who I spoke of earlier who might come up to me and talk to me about animal rights issues, the average person, the community in general, and I'm getting even upset now, would just be absolutely revolted by the fact that the broader definition isn't currently covered as a criminal act. So I welcome it. I know that my community welcomes it, and I know that my community cares deeply for animal rights issues, particularly of this nature. And I think as well that that having this enshrined in the Crimes Act is very important to make sure that we have that definition is broadened and that it meets the needs of our community. The member for Sydney also spoke about the connection, and I know the Honourable Member Emma Hurst has also spoken to me about this connection, the connection between animal cruelty and animal sexual abuse, and also sexual abuse of children, and of domestic violence and sexual abuse of women and men as well. And those links are undeniable, and those links are even greater cause for concern, even if you put aside the very, very worthy animal rights issues. The links between the acts that we talk about within the bill and potential acts against women, children and men by perpetrators, if this is a red flag and this type of abuse is a red flag, then we should be passing this legislation to ensure that this broadened definition and to ensure ease of enforcement is picked up to ensure that these perpetrators, or at least we can't ensure completely, but to at least ensure that they are prosecuted for this crime first, in the hope that will prevent further sexual abuse of either women, children or men by that perpetrator in the future. I also note the provisions around trafficking of animals for sexual purposes as well, and again I think that broadened definition reflects community expectation and some of the issues we see in terms of sex trafficking with humans as well. I do think that the review and the amendments made in terms of the review is a worthy amendment, and one that I also support, because with all legislation, particularly one of this nature, having a review about how enforcement has been undertaken and how effective this bill is very important, particularly as it links to some of the issues or potential crimes against people as well. And I noticed even in the news this morning, as well as the legislation we've passed recently, even in this sitting period in the House, does concern domestic violence, sexual abuse against children, even the working with children's reforms. And so this has come at a time when these broader issues are being considered by this Parliament as well. I also want to acknowledge and express my deep respect for the Animal Justice Party and the work that they do in the other place. And I know my community has great respect for the Animal Justice Party as well. I've had many a conversation with people, particularly at the dog park, but not only at the dog park. Also, during the election, many people came up to me speaking about the role of the Animal Justice Party, and also acknowledging and understanding that, with a focus, an animal justice party, or with a minor party that has a specific focus, they are able to do so much reform and so much work, and that is just evident in the work that has been done by the Animal Justice Party in passing legislation even in this Parliament. So I just thought I'd mention some of those achievements because there has been so much done to give a voice for animals who, as we know, just don't have a voice. So the Animal Research Amendment, Prohibition of Forced Swim Tests and Forced Smoke Inhalation Experiments Bill in 2023, which banned cruel and archaic forced swimming and forced smoking experiments. And of course, a lot of work went into that because we know that in the past that's just been accepted as a way to do animal testing, and again, not meeting community expectation, particularly when we have other appropriate ways of conducting tests that don't require animals to be involved. Then the Animal Research Amendment, Right to Release Bill 2022, to ensure dogs and cats used for research are rehomed. The Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Amendment, Prohibitions for Convicted Persons Bill 2022, which stopped known abusers from having animals in their care. And the Companion Animals Amendment, Rehoming Animals Bill 2021, requiring Pounds to take steps to rehome an animal before it considers killing them. I know yesterday, that in the PID yesterday, there was a discussion about the role of independents in this House, but I think I really want to acknowledge the role of the Animal Justice Party for passing legislation and giving a voice to animals, and particularly the contents of this bill, which is so abhorrent that, I thank them for broadening this definition and making sure that this is a crime in New South Wales. Thank you, Speaker.